Did you know that not all airline loyalty programs are created equal, and only one airline in the world flies direct to more than 250 international destinations? Come along with us as we fly with Turkish Airlines Business Class on a Boeing 787-9 back to the island of the gods. We're Ronnie and Jeremy, and we're digital nomads traveling to every country in the world. We've been on the rails and in the air for the past 3 years, bringing you our unbiased reviews on travel destinations across the globe. After spending most of 2023 in South America, we're always looking forward to more adventures on every continent. And as always, we hope you'll come along with us for the ride, because you don't have to be a Kentuckian to travel with us, you just gotta have fun. Salamat pagi, YouTube fam, and welcome back to the channel. Ronnie and I are back on the island of the gods, but before we show you our luxurious Balinese suite here at the Marriott Hotel, we need to show you how we got here. We flew back to Bali in style with Turkish Airlines Business Class on a Boeing 787-9. And as always, if you want to experience the ride with us, then come along with us. Let's go. Our travel adventure day begins here at the Turkish Airlines Business Class Lounge in Istanbul's International Airport. Turkish Airlines travelers will be happy to learn that Turkish Airlines has 2 identical business class lounges in the Istanbul International Airport. Although both lounges are identical, one lounge is designated for Turkish Airlines business class travelers, and its twin lounge is designated for Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles members and Star Alliance Gold members. Visitors to these lounges will find that they offer many amenities, including private sleeping suites, shower suites, luggage storage, and a self-playing piano. But we should mention here that access to the Turkish Airlines private sleeping suites is very strict and follows the Turkish Airlines policy guidelines. Based on the information from the Turkish Airlines staff in the business class lounge, in order to gain access to the private sleeping suites, you must have a flight that is more than 8 hours and a connection time in Istanbul between 4 and 9 hours. If your connection time is less than 4 hours or more than 9 hours, you will not be granted access to the Turkish Airlines private sleeping suites. Turkish Airlines follows a strict policy that is computer-based regarding these private sleeping rooms. Connection times are determined based on your landing time in Istanbul and your scheduled departure time for your connecting flight. But if you are not lucky enough to be granted access to one of the private sleeping rooms, both lounges do offer plenty of food options and several different seating options to pass your layover in the international airport. Unfortunately for Turkish Airlines and all of its travelers, on this night that we were traveling with the airline through Istanbul, Turkish Airlines was targeted in a cybersecurity attack on the airline. This caused all the flights in the late evening hours to be canceled or rescheduled until the early morning hours of the following day. And sadly, the Turkish Airlines ground staff did not handle this situation very well. Both the desk agents and the lounge staff were unapologetically unhelpful and rude to the passengers traveling through the airline's business class lounge. And even worse, the Turkish Airlines communication on the mobile app was untimely and late in assisting passengers that were traveling through the airport. And if all of this was not disappointing enough, Turkish Airlines was not offering compensation to passengers who needed to get hotels in Istanbul for the night. But the stinkiest item on top of this trash pile was that Turkish Airlines sent a press release declaring that it was compensating all the travelers affected by this cybersecurity attack. Of course, this compensation declaration was not being followed at the airport, at least while I was at the international airport, and that is difficult to forgive. And as we were leaving the Turkish Airlines Business Class lounge, there were still queues of angry travelers that were arguing with the ground staff about compensation rights. But luckily enough, Ronnie and I did have our flight rescheduled for 4 o'clock in the morning, and after a 12-hour layover in Istanbul, we began our long trek across the airport to our departure gate. And here are a few more queues of angry Turkish Airlines travelers who are still arguing with the Turkish Airlines ground staff at the customer service center. And we should note here that if you are transiting through Istanbul's International Airport, be prepared to walk. This international hub for Turkish Airlines is quite large and is still growing. And unfortunately, the airport has not implemented a train system inside the terminals yet. Therefore, your walk from the center of the airport to any departure gate could be 20 to 30 minutes at a minimum. But after a long walk across the airport, which felt like another 12 hours onto our layover, we finally made it to the end of the F gates at the far corner of Istanbul's International Airport. And welcome on board our Turkish Airlines Boeing 787-900 with 30 lie-flat business class seats in a 1-2-1 configuration. As you will immediately notice, this layout on the Turkish Airlines Boeing 787-900 is much different than the configuration on their outdated Boeing 777. These seats on the Boeing 787 are configured in pods, which offer much more privacy than the 232 layout on the Boeing 777. In addition, the seat material itself is quite comfortable, and the calming color tones in the cabin make it quite easy to rest on a long flight. Travelers will also enjoy newer amenities and more storage at the seat. And we should also note the seat reading lights, the flexible tray table, and the foot space at the seat, which all contribute to the coziness feeling on this new Turkish Airlines Boeing 787 configuration. And as is standard for Turkish Airlines, as soon as Ronnie and I got settled at our seats, the flight crew came around to offer us welcome drinks. We both chose mint lemonades, and Ronnie was excited to begin exploring the Salvatore Ferragamo amenity kits. The amenity kits were reliable with all of the usual suspects, including socks, an eye mask, a dental kit, and several Salvatore Ferragamo face products. And if you were worried this bright red color was the only option for the Salvatore Ferragamo amenity kits, Ronnie will give you a tutorial of the light blue amenity kit that I was given. Although the contents are thoughtful and of good quality, the Salvatore Ferragamo bags are the highlight of these amenity kits. And while the boarding process finished, the famous Turkish Airlines chefs began taking the meal orders for the dine-on-demand service that was available on this 12-hour flight from Istanbul to Denpasar, Bali. And here is a preview of the flight meal menus. Feel free to pause if you would like to peruse because there were several options on board. And as soon as Ronnie and I made our meal decisions for the flight to Bali, we began exploring the in-flight entertainment system and our flight route from Istanbul to the Island of the Gods. One of the most significant improvements on the Boeing 787 is the in-flight entertainment system. The IFE screen is larger than the Boeing 777, and the overall entertainment system is much more interactive. And as you can see, the 3D Voyager flight mapping on this Boeing 787 is much more interactive than the flight mapping that you will find on other outdated systems. And as we take off and ascend over Istanbul, Türkiye, please remember to give this video a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to our channel. That is one of the best ways that you can support our work and keep us on the rails and in the air. And once we were cruising over Istanbul, it was time for Ronnie and I to get cozy in our honeymoon seats in row 7. We should also note here that these middle seats on the Turkish Airlines Boeing 787 do have partition dividers if you are traveling beside a stranger. And these middle seats do alternate in layout, with the odd numbered rows having the seats closer together and the even numbered rows having the middle seats farther apart. And if you booked a window seat on this Turkish Airlines Boeing 787, please remember that the even numbered rows have true window seats, while the odd numbered rows have the storage console closer to the window. It is also worth noting that these odd numbered window seats have less privacy because the seats themselves are angled toward the aisle. Soon our Boeing 787 was at cruising altitude, and the Turkish Airlines flight crew began working diligently to prepare all of the lie-flat business class seats for the long 12-hour flight to Bali. Not long after we received our seat covers, pillows, and blankets, the Turkish flight crew began distributing hot towels in preparation for the meal service. This meal began with wine and cherry juice on the side, with warm assorted nuts, a prawn starter, and a Turkish meze. And then for the main option, Ronnie chose the grilled sea bass with pan-fried vegetables and basil pesto, while I chose the safer grilled lemon rosemary chicken with black olives, cherry tomatoes, fresh arugula, parmesan, and fried potatoes. Dessert for Ronnie on this flight was a fresh fruit salad, while I chose to go with a homemade eclair with chocolate sauce and vanilla cream. And I have to sadly say that Ronnie's fresh fruit salad was the clear winner on this flight. And after the meal service had concluded, Ronnie and I both visited the Turkish Airlines Boeing 787 lavatory. And the best amenity in the Turkish Airlines Business Class lavatories is the stocked assortment of molten brown products. And once we had returned to our business class seats, the mood lighting for the cabin was set to sleep mode, and Ronnie and I got comfy in our lie flat seats. One of my favorite things to watch before bedtime on any ultra long haul flight is the 3D flight mapping. And as you can see, our flight to Bali had an interesting route over Central Asia on its way over India as it made its approach to Southeast Asia, flying through several time zones. But Ronnie and I had no trouble sleeping on this flight, as our lie flat seats were very comfortable. But soon it was time for Turkish breakfast in the evening in Southeast Asia. All Turkish breakfasts include some assortment of olives, cheese, fruit, and meat, but this particular flight meal was not memorable and certainly did not meet my expectations for Turkish Airlines. I think the most disappointing part of the Turkish breakfast was the strange tasting yogurt that was served, which honestly tasted like it was a bit spoiled. But regardless, you can't get the blues on any flight bound for Bali, and soon we were approaching our favorite island in the world. And if you're a huge fan of Lou reviews, here's another look at the Turkish Airlines Business Class lavatory and those molten brown products. But after 12 hours of flight time on our Boeing 787-900 from Istanbul, we were finally approaching Indonesia's most internationally popular island. And Ronnie and I would like to welcome you to Ngurah Rai International Airport in Denpasar, Bali, just south of Kuta Beach. And we always like to note that most international tourists can get a visa on arrival to Indonesia. The current cost for a visa on arrival is 500,000 Indonesian rupiah, which is currently about $32 US. And that visa on arrival fee can be paid at the cashier desk in the arrivals hall at the Bali airport. Travelers can pay in cash with Australian dollars, US dollars, euros, Great British pounds, Singapore dollars, or in Indonesian rupiah. And as always, when we arrive in Bali, our friend Danny picked us up at the airport. Danny is the best driver on Bali, and his contact info is in the description of this video. And as we welcome you to our new home in Seminyak, Bali, we hope you got value from this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share it with all your friends on all those social media channels. And if you enjoy world travel content and jetting around the globe wherever we go, please subscribe to our channel and check that notification bell so you know when our new videos are uploaded every week. But remember, you don't have to be a Kentuckian to travel with us. You just gotta have fun. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep on keeping on. Cheers.